Generation activated.
All the things we do for dreams, all of the things I do for me. I know the world is sad, nobody around to give me. Doing for dreams.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the Swaggydilly Racing Esports Championship brought to you by Red Rapid Racers. We are in round 3 of 4, where we are in Hungary, Budapest, where we have 11 drivers competing. We start off with a one-shot qualifying that goes into a sprint race, which is a 5-lap race, and then straight into a 25% race, which is 100% of a real F1 race. So we're just getting ready. The drivers are getting their setups in, getting ready to get going, and then they start their qualifying lap. They have one shot to get this qualifying lap in, and a track like Hungary, where it's very easy to drift wide, it's going to be quite challenging for these drivers to push to the limit without going over it. So 18 seconds before we start our one-shot qualifying, Yug is leading the championship by 4 points to Brandon, and then we see a huge gap between P2 and P3, and P3 and P4 separated by only 2 points, and P5 then myself, Alia. So yeah, we start right now with getting on board with Amit, and you can see already into P1 on the straight. Looks like he's got a pretty decent setup. Going straight into turn 1. Very using all of the track. DRS open. Coming into this downhill left-hander. Very tricky. If you touch the curb, it can unsettle the car. Drift out wide and then flat out right. We see Simply YT actually. Yug and Amit are very, very close, 1 and 2 on the standings, with Brandon third right now. Brandon needs to qualify ahead of Yug right now to have a chance of the championship. Obviously, the sprint race, they get only 8 points for winning it, and not the standard 25 points for the feature race. That'll happen right after that. But right now we see Amit in P1, Brandon in P2, trying to step up the timing sheets. We see, disqualified for being parked. Shalab not getting a lap in. That's going to basically put him down in the field. Yeah, he puts him down to 10th, and Anthony also looks like he's had an off. But we see Brandon right now P2, Amit P1, and looks like coming into the last corner, it's going to stay that way. And Amit crosses the line. Just P1, just less than a tenth separating Brandon and Amit. Gonna be a very, very good fight. 4 tenths to Yug. What Brandon needs right now is to be ahead of Yug in the standings, because these two are very, very close. So this is good for Brandon. Means that he will score more points than Yug as it stands right now. But we can see the qualifying order. Amit in P1, Brandon in P2, Yug in P3, Mercurial Caesar or Tarek Rehman in P4, Aman Nagdev in P5, and I actually did not catch who was in P6, P7, P8. But yeah, we move on now to the straight into the 5-lap race. Yeah, we can see Vijay in P6, myself, Arya Karthik in P7, Lean Sipper or Vansh in P8, Darshan in P9, and then we can see the bottom 3, 9, 10, 11 have either disqualified or not made it a full lap. So as I said, it's a risk equals reward here. You got to risk the going off the track to gain more time, and it looks like some of them fell short of that. But just a 10 between the top two. Amit blazingly quick. Brandon just showing as well that he can be that quick. So really good for Brandon. I did have talks with him that this is the track that he's very, very comfortable with. So it's going to be good to see how this pans out in the race. If Brandon gets a good start, he could hold the lead because there's not many straights here, so it's all in the corners. Where basically it's a qualifying track. That means that all the drivers are basically in wherever they qualify or where they start. In an interesting turn of events, it is raining, guys. What is this going to play out for the strategy now for the drivers? This 5-lap race, it's going to be a wet one, which means that it's unclear if it's full wets or inters, but it's going to make it very interesting now. The drivers are going to have to be super careful, basically just slowly maneuver their way in on the track. We're just 3 seconds away from the start of the race. Let's see how it goes. As we saw, Amit starting in P1, Brandon in P2, and Yug in P3. How's it going to go for the starts? The 5 lights are on, and they're off. A very slow start. It looks like someone jumped. Yeah, Amit has jumped the start. Amit has jumped the start. Anthony has jumped the start. That means Brandon effectively takes the lead. Brandon getting a very, very bad start. Yug goes up into P3. Brandon right behind. Brandon trying to catch up. Oh, this carnage. Amit and Anthony have contact. Amit falls down the order, but it didn't make much of a difference. He has a drive penalty. We see Tariq and Yug now P2, P1, Brandon in P3, Arya in P4, just 5 tenths separating them. 1 second between the top three. We look at Brandon right now, trying to get up to Tariq Rahman. These three just have to. I guess I said these. The curbs are. Oh, it looks like Brandon's made a mistake. He's just held on, but he's just made a mistake. That means that these guys are gonna have more to go off. Riding the curb, Tariq Rahman, Yug right now holding off the lead really well. Brandon needs to do his best to get ahead because this is not good for the championship. Yug is just gonna build his championship lead right now. Okay, we see Tariq Rahman in P2 holding it strong. Arya just dropping off slightly. Lean Sipper right behind him, and Darshan right actually half a second to Lean Sipper. So there's battles all around, but really, really bad for Amit and Anthony jumping the start, and that is just gonna affect the whole race. Luckily, at least it's better to have happened in the sprint race where there's less points to gain, but it's still points lost for the championship, especially for just a 4-round championship. That means that it's going to cost him dearly. Yug taking the fastest lap. It looks like Tariq is trying to gain on him. He's just 2 tenths behind. These guys now have a chance. It's condition, but these guys now have a chance to make overtakes because people are more susceptible to making mistakes. And we see Brandon just holding on, waiting around. Tariq, oh, very deep on the brakes. Yug going quite early on the brakes. Tariq just holding up behind him, just 2 tenths separating them. It's looking very, very close between these top three. Let's see who makes the first mistake right now. Brandon just in the back, trying to hold on. 3 tenths to Tariq, and then 5 tenths to Yug from Tariq. So very, very close. Arya just losing out, not able to keep up with these wet conditions. It's a very technical track. So it's not very easy to keep up in these corners. So it's very, very good that these drivers in the top three are holding on. All right, we see Brandon right now, 2 tenths to Tariq. Will he make the overtake? It could be damage limitation. Obviously, losing positions on the start is not what you want to do. We look at the position change. We see Tariq and Yug making 2 positions, Brandon dropping 1. Everyone making gains except for some of the top drivers. We see Amit and Aman. Actually, we didn't catch that. Amit and Aman are actually out of the race. Obviously, Amit with the drive-through penalty jumping the start. It wasn't ideal for him. But as we move on now, we can see the top three very close. Lean Sipper just staying on Arya, 6 tenths to him. These three very, very close. Brandon seems to be dropping off very slightly, 1 second to the leader. But he could just be saving energy right now, trying to use it on the straight. Yug looks like he made a mistake. Yug looks like he's made a mistake. So what does this mean now for Tariq? Tariq trying to capitalize on it. Let's see what Tariq can do now. Half-second splitting each driver in the top three. Very, very close. Yug doing a great job of holding it off right now. Yug is probably under a lot of pressure. He knows that if he makes a mistake right now, these drivers will capitalize on it. Tariq is right behind Brandon, right behind Tariq. So these drivers are right now showing how to drive in the rain, doing really, really well. We see a dry racing line actually coming in. It's still raining, but we see a racing line coming in. So it looks like these drivers might have a little bit more grip now. So we can see a little bit more of a push probably. Coming to the last corner, 4 out of 5 laps completed. We start the 4th lap. And yeah, as you can see, Tariq is on a flying lap, 129.4. Is he going to try making the move on Yug? No, not yet. Just thinks better of it, following him on the slip. Yug doing a great job right now, just defending, placing the car very well. It doesn't look like Tariq is getting the best of exits, but he's going really, really deep on the brakes, and that seems to be working out for him. Yug taking the wider line compared to Tariq, and that seems to be working for Yug because you get to carry more speed. But Tariq right behind him right now, 1/10, 1.5 tenths to him. What does this mean now for Tariq? Tariq not making the move as yet. Just looks like they're very, very close. Tariq is just trying to play the long game here, trying maybe on the straight. Very, very close between these two. 3/10 between each driver. We can see right now Yug just navigating the track very, very slow now because of the conditions, but he seems to have gotten a really good exit. I think Tariq has actually made a mistake. That means Brandon could be on the charge now. It looks like Tariq is trying to go on the defense, sees that Brandon's not going to make any move, and goes back on the racing line. So as we start the last lap, final lap of the race, we can see Yug leading the race right now, 6/10. I think he might keep that gap right now. And what that means is, yeah, look at the gap that he's built, 8/10, 1 second on the exit of these corners. That means that Caesar is really struggling right now. Tariq is really struggling with the grip. Maybe he has ruined his tires in these 5 laps. Brandon needs to try and capitalize, make a move down the whenever he can, at least, and hope that Tariq makes a mistake so he can make the move past. But right now, Tariq looks to be holding on to it. We move on to. We can see actually, as we were so focused on the top three, we can see actually Lean Sipper has made the move. Vunch has made the move on Arya, and Arya now on P5, and then a huge 19-second gap to Arya, Vijay Krishan. But we see 6/10 between the top three. 1.2 seconds between the top three. 6/10 splitting each driver. I think Yug has got this in the bag as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. Brandon also needs to try and step up. He's got only a few corners to make a move. And right now, it's going to be super, super hard if he doesn't. Darshan getting 2-second penalty for multiple warnings for probably track limits. As I said, risk equals reward. Risk plus reward here is what will count. So anyway, we move on. Final corner. Yug looks to have held it on. He takes the win for the sprint race in Hungary in round 3, setting the fastest lap. No, not setting the fastest lap. Mercurial Caesar taking the fastest lap, coming in second. Brandon in third. Lean Sipper in fourth, followed by Arya in fifth. Arya comes around the final corner. Does it look like Arya's taken damage? It's hard to tell from here, but Arya comes in P5. Yeah, car looks fine. Vijay Krishan coming to the final few corners. Trying to navigate through. It looks like he is finishing in P6, Darshan in P7, Anthony in P8, and Shalab Saxena in P9. So the top 8 only score points here. So Anthony does finish points even though he's 23 seconds down. Obviously Darshan got a 2-second penalty, but that won't mean anything as he finishes P7. Anthony in P8, Shalab in P9. Shalab just missing out on the points. But anyway, we move on now to the feature race, which is a 25% race of a 100% race in real life. So that should be around 18 laps, if I'm not mistaken, around here, 16 to 18 laps. So yeah, it looks like Yug is going to be starting pole with Tariq in second, Brandon in third. Didn't get the best of starts for Brandon, and that basically cost him a lot. As I said, this is mainly at qualifying track, so it's very, very hard to make overtakes here, and that proved to be the case for Brandon, losing those positions in the start of the race and losing out on potential points against Yug. But Yug extends his lead by 2 points, so 6 points separates Brandon and Yug. So now we're going to get the lobby ready for the feature race. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, and we'll see the feature race go on, which is a 25% race, and we hope to catch everyone there. All right, people, we are back for the feature race, the Grand Prix event for the round 3 of the Swaggydilly Esports Racing Championship, brought to you by Red Rabbit Racers, where we are doing 18 laps. These guys will have a mandatory pit stop. The starting order is the finishing order of the sprint race, which we just completed about 5 minutes ago. So that means that Yug starts in P1 with Mercurial Caesar or Talik Rehman in P2 and Brannon in P3. What this means is that Yug has extended his championship lead by 6 points from the 4 points. So Brannon really needs to get ahead of Yug right now to bring the points down and bring it into his favor. But right now, looking really good for Yug. As long as he stays out of incidents, we have 5 seconds before before the 5 lights, and we start racing. All right, we start racing now. 4 lights, 5 lights, and the lights are off. The drivers are off, and we see very slow start. Tariq Brandon looks to have gotten a better start. Up side by side with Lean Sipper right now. Brandon just holding tight. Oh, it looks like Lean Sipper is on the mediums as well, but Brandon right now holding side by side with Lean Sipper right now. Lean Sipper to his right, trying to stay around the outside, but nothing doing that. Nothing of that from there, but falls down to P3. Brandon makes a position. Tariq getting a really bad start, down to P4. Amit into P5 with Arya in P6, Anthony in P7, Aman in P8. Everyone so far very close to each other. No incidents as yet, which is very uncommon of the circuit. But we see Tariq trying to make a move, Lean Sipper making sure to shut that door off, and Brandon right now trying to get close to Yug right now. We see yellow flags in Sector 2. It looks like Vijay has spun off or got into an incident, but he's back on. He's moving right now. Brandon just trying to keep up with Yug and Brandon on the soft. It looks like 2 drivers have gotten into an incident. Darshan is out of the race. Amit, I think, has actually fallen down the order again. Yeah, Amit has gotten into another incident. Yeah, he's off. It doesn't look like he's picked up any damage, but Darshan is out of the race. This is not good for Amit, but something is definitely wrong with Amit's car. He might have a puncture of some sort, but his car is looking a little, it doesn't look straight, but he stays out. I think maybe the tires are just hot then. Yeah, he's making a lot of errors. So we move back to the top 2. We see someone coming into the pits. Aman in the pits right now. Either probably fixing a broken wing, but right now just 2 tenths separating Brandon and Yug. These guys have to keep it on the track. Otherwise they will get a penalty of 2 seconds for the first 3 warnings. You get 2 warnings, and then you get on your 3rd warning you get a 2-second penalty. So Mercurial right now has made the move on Lean Sipper, actually, as we were looking at the incident with Amit and Darshan. But we move on right now. We see Yug has kept the lead so far, but we can see the medium and 7. We're expecting a soft to medium strategy from 7 to 11. And then we're seeing a medium to hard, which I don't think anyone is on. Actually, sorry, I'm mistaken. Yug is actually on a medium tire, so Brandon really needs to get ahead of Yug right now to start building a gap. Amit has retired from the race. Looks like he spun out and crashed. Not good for his race. We move on to the top 2. It looks like Brand really needs to get ahead of Yug right now. Yug staying on the mediums. Looks like he's chosen a really good strategy. It's played out in his favor because he knew that this track is not an easy overtaking track, so he could use the mediums to try and keep Brandon behind, which Brandon will then have to pit earlier, and Yug will be on the faster tires after that. But anyway, we move on. We see Brandon in P2, Tariq in P3. Tariq also looks to be on the soft tire, red colored compound, which is the soft tires. We see yellow flags again in sector 2. It looks like Arya has made a mistake. which means that Anthony's going to be right behind him, 3/10 to Arya right now. We move on. Lean Sipper also has got a huge gap. I think actually Lean Sipper made a mistake, which is how Tariq got ahead. But yeah, we see Brandon right now, 3/10. DRS open this lap, so he's gonna try making the move. Is he gonna make it stick? Oh, we see late moves by Yug and Brandon. Brandon going side by side with Yug. Is it gonna be clean? We look side by side. Brandon on the outside has not made it stick yet. Yug doing a really good job to keep it clean. We actually did miss what happened there, unfortunately, but yeah, it looked very tight between these two. Brandon trying to get ahead. He has about 3 laps left on these tires before it starts dropping off, and I think Brandon knows that, so he's trying to build a gap. Tariq doing a good job right now of just trying to stay behind these drivers, making sure that he'll capitalize on anything that these drivers do. So it's a safe distance, but keeping it there. Maybe struggling a tad bit on the pace, but trying to keep it there, make sure these guys fight hard, and then he'll just try to build the gap from there. So Tariq just needs to keep his cool, make sure he's not making mistakes, and hope that these guys fight really hard, so then he can capitalize on that. But we see Brandon right now gonna try again, 3/10 to Yug. He's gonna have the DRS open. The DRS ring you can see is open right now. Yug, what is he gonna do? He goes on the inside. Brandon's gonna go on the outside. Yes, he is. Brandon on the outside. Oh, is he gonna make it ahead? Brandon trying on the outside this time. We can see Brandon side by side. Is he gonna make it stick? He's on the inside for this corner, and Brandon braking slightly early, but knows that he's got the inside. Side by side with these drivers. Is he gonna make it stick? Yo, oh, just squeeze him. Brandon makes it. He's in P1 right now. So Brandon right now needs to make sure that he can build the gap to Yug. Brandon made the move stick in a track that is very hard to make overtakes. So Brandon right now really good for his championship standings, because he gets a total of 7 points, which means that he'll be put 1 point ahead of Yug as it stands right now, unless Yug takes the fastest lap, and then the points will be equal. You see Brandon charging up the ERS. I think Yug has actually played the strategic move of keeping his ERS charged up so he can attack him back for the next lap. But Brandon seems to have charged it up, ready to keep the lead. He's going to try keeping the lead. We see the DRS swing open up for Yug now. Yug trying to make a move, not building as much of a drop as Brandon is, potentially not using overtake, so he's just thinking better of it. It looks like Yug might try to build a gap when Brandon comes into the pits to switch into the mediums. As we said, Brandon needs to really get on it right now if he wants any chance of winning this race, because Yug is going to go on to the soft tires. Either that or Brandon will have to make his car the widest car known, widest Formula 1 car known to mankind, to keep Yug behind, because Yug is completely on it. But Brandon right now trying to build the gap. He seems to be doing it with 6 laps old softs, which is quite old. The tires will be at about 25% now, compared to Yug's probably 15%. So it's good to see Brandon building the gap. This is where Yug can start coming closer in as the track gets more technical. We can see the lights flashing on Brandon's car. That means that his ERS, his battery charge, is below 20%. And if it's off, that means, which it is right now, it means it's above 20, and so is Yug's. So Yug is going to have a good chance of trying to use his ERS and get past him. Just 4/10 separating the top 2 right now. We can see Yug. Is he going to make it stick? Brandon goes down the inside. Oh, we see an incident. We see an incident with Aman as we just cut to that. We see an incident with Aman. Aman has lost his front wing. He's off the track, reversing right now slowly, trying to... Aman has actually left the session. So his car is completely destroyed, as we can see. He slowly gets back on and probably will come back into the pits. 20 seconds now. Well, we move back to the top 2. We can see Mercurial actually, I think, has come into the pits because Mercurial and Lane Sipper, because there's 18 seconds of a gap between these two. So these two need to start building a gap. Brandon right now just doing his best to extend the tire life of these tires so that he could have very fresh mediums when Yug goes onto his soft compound tires. What that'll mean is that if Brandon can stretch these tires by maybe 1 or 2 laps, um, he can come into the mediums and completely push on those tires and completely destroy them and build a gap actually to Yug so that he doesn't get undercut. But actually, Brandon comes into the pits right now, as we saw with the predicted tire strategy for 7 to 11 laps. So Brandon comes into the pits right now. Yug retakes the lead of the race. No one near Yug for the next 20 seconds. So Brandon will just need to do a good job of getting a good pit stop. It looks like he has. He's gotten a good pit stop. Get on the medium tires and get out as quick as possible. So Brandon right now 18 seconds to Yug. He's gonna have very cold tires, so Yug really now needs to get on the charge. Make sure that that gap stays at 19 seconds, because if it does, that means that he will take the lead of the race with those soft compound tires. So Brandon really needs to start pushing immediately. Tariq actually has probably had come into it for his pit stop. Yeah, he's on now warmed up mediums, maybe 1 or 2 laps sooner than expected. But what that means is that he's going to be building the gap closer to Brandon, because Brandon now has to warm up those mediums, which take about 1.5 laps before it starts working out. But as you can see already, immediately the tires are coming into play, because Yug is losing that gap to Brandon very slightly, or maintaining it. So that means that the tires are starting to work. We're just about halfway into the race, and Brandon really needs to get onto the pace, bring the time down by a couple of seconds so that he doesn't get undercut by Yug when Yug comes into his pit stop, because as I said, he will have the faster tires on. So we expect probably Yug to be coming to the pits in a couple of laps time as well, so that will make the difference. But as you can see right now, Brandon just not able to close the gap. Had DRS with the back marker of Aman, which means that he did get a little bit extra on the straight. But we can actually see Mercurial is building the gap to closing in the gap to Brandon. Was 1.1 seconds at one point, now 7/10. So Brandon needs to really push from now, because this means that Tariq is going to have the DRS on the straight. So we move on now to Lean Sipper. It did look like Lean Sipper had made the pit stop, so he's just 5 seconds behind now. He's also closed up the gap quite a bit to Mercurial Caesar. He was 8 seconds before the pit stop, and now is 6 seconds. So I don't think Lean Sipper does have a chance of making any positions right now, unless there's a mistake from these top 3. But it looks like Brandon setting the fastest lap. It does look like Mercurial is going to be outside the DRS now. Oh, but he still has the DRS open actually. Now that, as I said, that 1.1 seconds out, still has the DRS. I don't know how that's happened, but he did get it. Lean Sipper now losing the gap to the top 3. So Lean Sipper has to really pick up his pace if he wants any chance of catching these guys. So as we were talking about closing in gaps, we've seen Brandon actually now has brought in 2 seconds to Yug. So if he is able to build a gap of about 3 or 4 seconds to Yug before the pit stop, it'll be really good, and Yug will probably have slightly less fresh tires by the time he catches up to Brandon. So Brandon right now really needs to... Yug has actually come to the pits. He's noticed that and has come into the pits. So again, about a lap earlier than expected. Oh, looks like the Incipher has gone off. But yeah, we look at Brandon now. Yug is in the pits, just about getting his pit stop done, getting back on the road, and Brandon starts the straight. What does this mean for Yug? Yug is getting out. Does Brandon get ahead? 16 seconds. That's going to be a huge gap. Yeah, he does get ahead of Yug but not a lot. He actually lost the position to Tariq. So Yug could actually lose a lot more points than anticipated. He might have to fight. He's gonna have to fight through Tariq and then fight into Brandon. So this is really good for Brandon, because that means that Brandon effectively right now will win the race with 7 laps to go. But as we see these soft compound tires on Yug, so Yug is going to be absolutely rapid from the next lap, because these tires need some time to get warmed up, but he'll be on it from next lap, trying to make the move on Tariq and then trying to move on Brandon. But this has actually just made his life a little bit harder, because I was not anticipating him to come behind Tariq, but he ended up coming up behind Tariq on those medium compound tires that he chose to start off with. So not looking good right now for Yug. He's really gonna have to push and try to make up the lost time. But anyway, Brandon holding on strong, building a gap to Tariq. He was absolutely rapid in the dry conditions, not very on the wet, but it looks like Yug is closing that gap 8 tenths now to Tariq, bringing it down further and further down. We see a back marker as well of Shalab Saxena. Shalab will have to move out of the way to stop impeding Tariq. Tariq obviously not having the best of luck with missing the apex for Yug, guys. He's trying to get away from traffic. But this is really good for Brandon. He's building the gap right now. 1.8 seconds to Tariq. Tariq is watching his rearview mirrors and actually not watching the prize ahead. So this means that Yug is going to catch up really, really quickly to them. Half a second between Yug and Tariq. So Tariq is really going to feel the pressure now. How well can he defend Yug from coming and attacking him? How many laps can he hold him up? Because Brandon, as I said, Brandon looks like he's actually made a mistake. Yeah, Brandon actually looks like he was blocked by a back marker. And looks like these guys are blocking. It looks like Vijay is actually blocking these guys as well. Vijay actually just impeded the drivers ahead, but Brandon's actually lost a lot of time, lost about a second behind Vijay Krishan. This is not good, but we see a move coming in from Yug right now. Does he make it stick? Oh, these guys go, they touch, they go side by side. Yug around the outside. Will he hold it down the inside? It looks like he will. They're side by side right now. Yug just on the inside. Will Tariq try to hold it around the outside? He tries to hold it, but there's nothing doing there with the medium tires. Now he starts to charge onto Brandon. Brandon's ERS running low as well, so Yug is really going to be on the charge now. Just 1 second separates Brandon and Yug. We see a yellow flag in sector 2. Has someone made a mistake? It looks like Shalab has made a mistake, and Vijay also gets a 3-second penalty for track limits. Shalab has made a mistake and has fallen down to 8th. But we see right now Yug not actually building the gap to Brandon as yet, keeping around that 1 second gap. Brandon doing a really, really good job of holding him off right now. Brandon really trying to use his his medium compound tires to the maximum and trying to build that gap. As we said, Brandon was very rapid on the medium wall tires, but we can see the ERS on Yug's car. Doesn't look like he's using it. He's seeing better of it again, as I said. And Brandon right now, ERS not got all of his ERS gone right now, and he's closing up the gap 3 tenths only to Brandon in P1. And there's only 4 laps remaining. Will he make the move stick? As I said, Brandon will have to make his car the widest car possible to keep him behind. Tariq didn't put up much of a fight, but will Brandon put up the same amount of fight? As it stands right now, they will be tied on the championship standing, so Brandon needs to try to keep him behind. Otherwise, he extends his lead to a further 13 points rather than being tied. So Brandon really needs to think about the championship here. There's 2 tenths separating Brandon and Yug right now. Yug trying to sell him the dummy of going down the inside, but it doesn't look like he has made the move. Obviously, being in P2, he's going to be very, very close to Brandon now, coming down the straight. Will Brandon have any ERS to play with? It looks like he charged up his battery, but Yug's just behind him, getting the flip. Looks like Brandon's run out of ERS, and it might be an easy overtake for Yug. As they go side by side down into turn 1, will Brandon try to defend this? It looks like he will. Yug pushed out really, really wide. Has he made the move? Yes, he has. Brandon unfortunately can't do anything to fight off Yug. Yug going on that faster strategy. And there's nothing Brandon could do about that. As we said, Brandon had to build the gap, but he lost quite a bit of time being behind the back marker, and that seems to have costed him. We see a yellow flag in Sector 3. It looks like Vijay Krishan as well spun out. But yeah, it looks like Brandon is going to not put up a fight now. He looks to have used up all of the softs, all of the mediums on this. So now we look at Brandon. Will he have anything else to do? It doesn't look like he can push anymore. He's pushing these tires to the maximum, using all the ERS possible and all the DRS, trying to keep in the DRS actually as they come into the final few corners. They'll start the final 2 laps of the race, and it looks like they're going slightly wide on the last corner actually, probably to get a better exit. It looks so. So just 7 tenths, 6 tenths, Brandon trying to bring the gap down, but as I said, I don't think there'll be anything of it happening. So Yug looks like he secured this race, so as long as he doesn't make a mistake. Brandon trying to keep up with him, trying to build up the gap, but the track is really, really hard to overtake him, and with these soft tires on Yug's car, doesn't look like he'll have any chance. We see Brandon just trying to stay behind, but we see that gap slowly increasing, and it could be around the time that Duke's tires start falling off. So, but it will be around the same for Brandon as well. So it doesn't seem like Brandon will gain any time here with just 2 laps left. So it looks, as I said, it looks like he's secured the bag. We see another back marker coming up. It looks to be myself Alia. And that actually means that I think, yeah, Yug will have DRS as well. So that means that Brandon won't have the same effect of the DRS as it should. But Brandon gets a DRS again. Will he make any time up to Yug? It doesn't look like it. Still about 6 tenths. Brandon's tires look really worn out compared to Yug. Yug's tires seems to have a little bit more life in them. 7 tenths, as I said, 2 laps to go. Brandon could make an overtake here if possible. It looks like Tariq is trying to steal some extra points. Has come into the pit, probably going, yeah, it's gone on the soft tires, so it looks like Tariq is trying to go for the fastest lap and steal that fastest lap point from Yug, which will actually bring the championship closer down. But right now it looks like it's going the way of Yug, and with 7 tenths from the top 2, Brandon really trying. 6 tenths to bring the gap down. It looks like the softs have worn out for Yug, so Brandon seems to be catching up. Just half a second with just 1 more lap to go. And will Yug get a good exit out? It looks like he did. But will it be enough? Brandon trying everything he can, trying to bring that gap down. Will it be enough? It doesn't look like it. The medium compound tires seem to be working a lot better right now, but just a better drive out of the corner for Yug right now. You see another mistake from DJ. Brandon is 6 tenths behind. Will he have anything to do to really make up the time? Right now, it seems to be going Yug's way as we just have a couple halfway through the lap. We have a couple more corners to go, and then it's game over. So let's see if Yug doing a good job right now under a lot of pressure from Brandon, who's rapid on this track. Will he be able to bring the gap down with just a couple corners to go, about 2 or 3 corners, and it looks like Yug has gone off the track. Brandon really trying to capitalize on this. One corner to go, just half a second separating the top 2, but it doesn't look like Brandon can do anything. Just 2 tenths to Yug, and Yug has secured it. Brandon just 3 tenths behind. So Yug has actually extended his championship lead by 12 points in total. So Yug right now the current championship leader, going into the final round tomorrow, where we will have a post-championship concert as well, celebrating the championship, the first championship for Swaggydilly Esports, and brought to you by Red Rabbit Racers. So wow, what a race between these two. Did Tariq Rahman actually steal the fastest lap? We will get a look at it, and it looks actually Brandon has taken the fastest lap. So not only is it it's 11 points now to the championship leader, not 12. So really good. It's looking really good for Brandon. He just needs to keep his head down. We go to Japan tomorrow, where the championship is going to be decided in the last 2 races, and right now it looks like Yug has secured it. Thank you everyone for watching, and we will be live tomorrow at 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time for the race, followed by the post-championship concert, where Guth will be performing for us. So do come by and stop and watch the race, and congratulations to the future race winners and the current race winners.